This week on Arizona Illustrated, the life and legacy of Cesar Chavez, sharing smiles, styles, stories, and hope, giving and receiving the gift of life and a new favorite place. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNAMARA. Cesar Chavez was an American farm worker, labor leader, and civil rights activist who inspired millions of Americans from all walks of life to fight discrimination, poverty, and powerlessness. He was also an Arizonan.
Cesar Chavez was an Arizonan whose work led him across America.
Arizona has always been an important part of his life. Even though he worked in California and throughout the country, he always considered himself an Arizonan.
By creating the United Farm Workers Union, he gave millions a voice for fairness.
Miss Aranez, your father is a contractor. Can you tell me something about his position, yours here at the vineyards?
Well, he quit because he didn't think it was fair, the prices they were paying. He wanted them to be fair to him, so we decided to go ahead and join the union.
He was the grandson of a former Mexican slave and the son of Mexican farmers. Cesar Estrada Chavez was born in 1927 near Yuma, Arizona.
My father's experience isn't unlike the experience of a lot of multi-generational Latino families here in the United States. You know, very proud of his roots, but he was a citizen of the United States. He went to school here, he served his country. Unfortunately, he wasn't offered a lot of the opportunities that other folks had, but he really is a son of the United States.
Chavez's father lost the family farm during the Great Depression. The Chavez family survived by traveling throughout Arizona, laboring in fields on their way to California. After his 8th grade graduation, Chavez decided to quit school and become a migrant farmer to help his family.
I remember him saying once, when asked what motivated him, and he said that he remembered the look on his mother's face when she told him, "Mijo, you can't go to school anymore, you need to help support your family." And he said that he wasn't driven by any fancy philosophy or ideology. It was just that he had this burning desire to make sure that no mother ever had to tell her children that same message.
At 17, Chavez joined the Navy and served in the Pacific during World War II. After his tour, he returned to the fields, picking grapes and cotton, only to find the same working conditions he and other migrant farmers endured before the war. Frustrated with poor working conditions, low wages, and discrimination, Chavez decided to take action. He formed what would become the United Farm Workers in 1956.
He had this saying, he says, you know, there are no perfect political systems. What there is this perfect political participation.
In 1972, Cesar Chavez returned to his native Arizona, where he fasted to call attention to the migrant farm workers' cause. His movement began to affect political elections.
I remember times being a little frustrated, thinking that things weren't happening quick enough, and I remember him saying, "Mijo, you got to understand where we've come from."
Chavez's movement gained national recognition and support from well-known national figures, from Bobby Kennedy and Coretta Scott King to Joan Baez.
First of all, I have a very strong personal love for Cesar, and I barely know him, which must come from recognizing a person who's committed and devoted and has that beautiful soul.
Some, including the Teamsters Union, tried unsuccessfully to stop Cesar Chavez and take control of the United Farm Workers. But the UFW, campaigning for higher wages for grape and lettuce pickers and a limit to the use of pesticides, went on to gain collective bargaining agreements and peacefully end strikes of farm workers.
If I hadn't learned to repress or to control that anger, I would still be saying, "Do you remember La Huelga?" But now I say, we remember La Huelga, but we also understand what it meant and that it was part of a social movement to bring about changes to empower our people.
Cesar Chavez died in his sleep in Arizona in 1993.
one of us would start it and we'd go, blah, blah.
And so that was the farm worker clap, very inspirational, very...
His followers and former organizers of the United Farm Workers Union have worked to keep Chavez's memory alive. They sponsor annual events, visit the Santa Rita Center where the UFW often met before taking their demands to the streets, and educate the young about the peaceful struggle.
We were working around a prophet because his message is prophetic. It's something that's eternal. It's not going to be gone in 50 years, 100 years. He changed, he made history, he changed history for the better, and he did it with love. He did it with nonviolence, he did it with love.
He really believed that if you stick with things long enough and hard enough, that you can make a difference. And so, you know, if you look at his life work, you know, there was many occasions where he probably should have quit, but he just wouldn't give up because he believed that in the end, si se puede, you can make a difference.
Getting a haircut may seem like a routine and trivial part of life to many, but people without permanent homes often go months or even years without one. In the next story, we meet folks for whom giving and getting a haircut can also offer a moment of community and hope.
I have friends of on the Los Barrios. They give me water, food, everything. God is always there. He's always hearing every prayer. He's faithful. He's true. You can't go wrong with Jesus Christ on your side.
My name's George Powell. I do drink a little bit off and on. Not much. I've been off the meth for 2 years. My girl walked out on me Saturday. And now I'm ready to go home. This hurts.
My name is Stephanie Martinez, and I am Native American, and I've been homeless for like almost 2 years.
Mom walked at me when I was 2. I've never met my dad. I have nobody. I'm it now.
For me to get a haircut is like, it's a fresh start. It's where I can, you know, go into a job and I don't have to look like I've been sleeping on the streets or haven't had it every day to take care of myself as an opportunity, you know? So it means a lot to me.
If I'm gonna try to get money for my bus ticket, I at least need to look good for the public. You know, that's courtesy.
So about that much taken off?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start off there and you can let me know if you want some more, okay? My name is Reba Lomolino, and I go to Tucson College of Beauty, and I'm 24.
I just recently started. I'm still in school. I graduate in about 3 weeks, so I've been cutting hair for about a year.
The last 2 years have been ups and downs. I've been struggling with like addiction and anger management problems, problems with trying to like build my family together and put my life back together, and it's hard, but at times when I do really well, it feels good, but then I have my addiction problems and I fall back again.
My first name is Tracy, T-R-A-C-Y. Howell is my last name, H-O-W-E-L-L. I started growing this beard, believe it or not, when the day I had open heart surgery back in April of 2013. That's when I started growing this, and it's kind of like, it's time, you know. I keep a positive attitude, you know, in life, you know. I mean, things may get down for a little while, but they always come back up. I had a sister one time that flat gave up. She committed suicide, you know. And she was alive for 27 years. She's now been dead for 34.
For about 3-4 months I was doing okay, and some family issues went down again, and I just kind of started drinking again, and I said I'm not going to go on forever like that, you know, so I just picked myself back up, and I'm in the shelter right now, and I'm going to go back on and up, and hopefully it just kind of sticks this time because I'm getting really old.
I'm going to move out of the motel that I'm in because it's just, you know, well, it's got bed bugs, you know, things like that, cockroaches, and that's not good for the self-esteem, you know.
Do you work right now?
Yeah, I'm a volunteer over at the Salvation Army.
That is super cool, dude.
Well, if I can get a haircut too, yeah. If she don't mind.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't
All
mind.
right. Yeah, look at come out here look like a clean cut. Yeah.
Split ends are probably the worst thing about having long hair.
Makes it very hard to actually comb and make it look nice.
Indeed it does.
And when they get all stretchy and ends up in your brush.
Yep.
I've lived here most of my life except for a brief little while I was in the military.
What branch?
I was in the Army, man.
Yeah, I was in the Navy.
Oh, that's really cool.
I love having long hair. I guess it's a anti-military thing. I was in the United States Navy, so the first thing I did when I got out of the military was no more cutting hair.
Yeah, I'm too old to be a hippie. I'm 59 years old. You know?
What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
I'm going to go to the library and do some email.
Do some email?
Yeah. Listen to music on YouTube.
There you go. Music is always good for your soul.
It is. I love music. One reason, well, strong reason on that one, I played the trumpet for like 15 years.
I did too.
Did you? All right.
It makes me feel amazing coming in and doing this. We always hear about these opportunities to come and help people and give them haircuts. I jump on it. You have a strong heart, I can tell, and you...
It's rebuilt.
It's rebuilt?
Yeah.
I think everybody's is halfway through life, right? You get knocked down and then you get back up, right?
Well, I don't stay down, you know?
You seem like you're a very strong man.
I do this because I like making people feel better about themselves. I like to make people look how they imagine themselves looking.
Thank you. Greatly
Thank you, man.
Very nice. Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you, man.
Here you go. Tell me how you feel about your beard. If there's
The self-esteem is up, you know, a lot better. That looks great.
Looks great?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I felt better, a whole lot better right now, you know?
Like what you see on Arizona Illustrated? Visit our webpage at azpm.org to watch and share videos from this episode. You'll also find stories from future programs, an easy way to submit your own story idea, an archive of past episodes of Arizona Illustrated, and you'll find everything you need to stay connected with public broadcasting in Southern Arizona. azpm.org. We all have it, we all need it, and it's coursing through each and every one of us right this moment. Blood, that beautiful red fluid that delivers oxygen and nutrients to our cells. Without it, we perish. According to the American Red Cross, every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs blood to survive.
My name is Greg Kogley. This is the place I usually go just because it's on my way home.
Okay. No question.
And I've come to know the people here very, very well.
So this one here?
Okay. We're in one of 2 permanent facilities that the Red Cross has in Tucson. This facility does 2 types of collections. The first type is whole blood, in which a person comes in and they fill up a 1-pint bag of blood.
Oh, okay. Be about 2 hours.
Right now, I'm doing a platelet donation. Platelets are a component of your blood that are instrumental in the coagulation process, which is very important if you have a cut. It promotes clotting. Platelets are very valuable because they have a very limited shelf life of only 5 days. They have to be stored at room temperature. unlike whole blood, which is stored at around 43 or 42 degrees. And then they go to patients that need them. I tell people that it's natural to have a certain fear. If you've never done it before, it's not normal to have someone stick a needle into a vein. However, once you try it, then you realize that it's really nothing to be afraid of.
Good job.
Thank you.
When Kai inserted my needle, I could barely feel it. And these phlebotomists are very, very skilled. Maybe someday, if too many people are afraid, the blood may not be there. That's what makes me afraid. And which fear is greater? You know? And sometimes you have to conquer your fear. But there's a constant need for platelets, just like there's a constant need for whole blood. The statistic they give us at the Red Cross is 1 person every 2 seconds in this country that requires blood. It's much more common than you think. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. You have a chance to chill out. No one can really place any demands on you. Right now, I'm doing something that's more important than anybody else could demand of me. Sometimes maybe we'll talk about sports, but I would say movies is the most common topic. I watched the first half of it last time.
I don't actually think I saw all the ancient ones there, though, the Charlton Heston ones. Right. But the new series, it's really, really good. Yeah. It's not hokey or anything. Hold it. Oh, there you go. I won't tell you how it ends. I won't tell you if the apes win or the people win, okay? Or who I'm rooting for.
The more I give, it kind of really makes my desire to give even stronger. Like I tell them, I'll give until you don't let me come back. Okay, thank you very much. I've given whole blood about 150 times, and I've given platelets about 100 times. You can give platelets a maximum of 24 times in a year. I like coming here, so I space out my 24 donations every 2 weeks. The nice gold-colored one. That's the platelets and a little bit of plasma. Yeah. I just think it's a beautiful color, you know. And I think it's very symbolic, you know, of what's happening. Or just like gold, you know, because it is gold to the people that need it. The maintenance of the blood supply is all held together by a shockingly small percentage of people who donate. Very few people ever donate. Okay? And of those people who do donate, a large percentage donate once and don't donate again. So it really, really behooves anyone that can to give it a try. You always have accidents. You always will have accidents. You always have surgeries, some of which require huge amounts of blood. You always have people that have certain disorders that require, you know, constant transfusions. So all the more reason for everybody to give, no matter where they live. No one gets blood in the hospital except that they need it in order to survive. They don't go in because it's fun or it's going to make them look nicer. It's very serious stuff.
This is the 103rd time I have received blood. I got lousy teeth. It's a plate and I can't enunciate properly. So I've got to slow it down. So. My name is Betty Halvorson. I used to live in North Dakota for 52 years. It's outside of Grand Forks where the university is. I graduated from nurses training in 1955, and I worked 25 years on the night shift. I loved it. I could help people.
Okay, so I have a red blood, intact, cold, no lumps. Oh, it's O positive blood.
O positive, she's A positive, which O can go into A positive.
Okay.
The reason I need blood is I had a bleed between the stomach and the esophagus. but it's a slight amount, and I have it checked every 6 to 8 weeks to see if they can figure out where this bleed is. Behave yourself.
I will. Excuse me.
The blood is coming at the tubing to go into my body. Something so simple as putting it in here, and it could save my life. Life.
So the blood's getting to her right now.
There's no other word for it. Yeah. It's this is my lifeblood right there. So I'm very thankful somebody donated that. Thank you for donating.
And now it's time for Favorite Places, where we present a beloved building, place, or space through the words of a Southern Arizona architect. Now, while to some, the collection of shops and restaurants on the southwest corner of Ina and Oracle is just another mall, to architect Dino Sekeller, Casas Adobes Plaza is an offer to lose oneself in a place of imagination and design.
Some might think my favorite space would be one of my father's designs, such as the Wilmot Library. But growing up in northwest Tucson, I spent most of my time exploring the small neighborhood shopping center called Casas Adobes. For 50 years, this charming and endearing space has been my neighborhood gathering place. I had my first job at Bullard's Hardware Store, my second at the Coat of Arms restaurant, and I spent much of my delinquent youth roaming its many patios and passageways. Fries at the drugstore counter, Kiwanis spaghetti dinners at the main plaza, and stolen kisses in the tower were delicacies of my youth. It was and still is the center of our neighborhood. Sam Nannini, an Italian immigrant, came to Tucson in 1948 from Chicago for his wife's health. He immediately began work on the shopping center perched high in the foothills at the west end of the Catalina Mountains. His goal was to mimic the quaint neighborhood markets of his hometown in Italy that have plazas as their focal points. Architect Gordon Lubke, a protege of renowned Swiss architect Josiah Josler, designed the plaza in the late 1940s. I remember hearing stories that Sam Nannini wanted a fireplace in the lobby of the gas station, and Gordon had to explain to him why it was not such a good idea. Mr. Nannini ordered many sculptures from Italy, and when they arrived, it was up to Gordon to design a place to display them within the architecture. So why is this my favorite space? Beyond the nostalgia, it represents the essence of architectural space: human scale, endurance, and delight. The plaza is one of the best examples of architecture that relates to human scale. As you explore the exterior plazas, passages, and patios, you feel intimate with the landscape and architecture, often causing you to pause or perhaps sit and enjoy the moment. As you look closely at the older areas of the building, you will notice that the wood has endured for over 50 years because it was properly detailed and maintained. It won't take long after exploring the plaza that a sense of delight overcomes you as you are embraced by its charm and character. In many ways, the outdoor experience of the plaza is just as enjoyable as the shops themselves. They blend together in a public way that is extraordinary. Many of our public spaces focus on the exterior or interior. Great architecture enhances the experience by uniting them. The next time you walk by a building, notice if it draws you in and invites you to explore. If it does, accept its invitation.
Share your favorite place on the Arizona Illustrated page at azpm.org. Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. Next week, doctors told him he'd never recover. Now he's poised to graduate from the University of Arizona. Local leaders reach out to young people who've dropped out of high school. Looking forward to retirement? Well, meet Sidney Levy. At 93, he's still going strong. And a stroll down Congress Street. I'm Tom McNamara. Thanks for watching and see you next week.